I started realizing for a minute, like, oh my God, even if I reach a goal, I'm still the same person. Life is still the same thing. Something outside of yourself, that's not the answer. That's not what is going to make you happy. So the New York Times did an article on me when I was just about to quit squash, and I had lost a match. There was an international event that had come to New York, which was super exciting. I think it was 1987, I can't remember when. And they had put this article about me on the front of the sports page. And it basically was the story of me I just couldn't do anymore, because between the potential injury, no finances, no real coach, training partners, all that type thing, I finally was like, I can't do this anymore. This is just too hard on so many levels. I just was like, I just need to quit. And the whole being unsure of my sexuality came in, and I started questioning myself more and being not as comfortable in my own skin. What I started realizing, wow, is I can get a lot of attention if I lose. There were times when you felt like so many people wanted you to lose that, okay, let me just lose, and then you can, say that I didn't win every match. I had this goal. WISPA had just started, and the Women's International Squash Professional Association. And then they were calculate points and everything. And I thought, okay, I'm going to give this, hopefully within a year, I can be top 16. So sure enough, I got top 16, and I was seeded 16th in the British Open, which is, at that time, that was the big event, right? Because that's where everyone plays. And I remember my back was sore, and I was, back then I'd fly over like a day before, something crazy. And I lost that match, and I was so disappointed in myself, because I was like, you actually achieved your goal. And what I realized in that moment is, you know what? No matter if the fact that I had been number one in the US, the fact that I had reached, the top 16 within the year, I started realizing for a minute, like, oh my God, even if I reach a goal, I'm still the same person. Life is still the same thing. I'm still going to fly home and need to just do the same thing, same training, all of a sudden it dawned on me, like, some kind of success, something outside of yourself that's not the answer. That's not what is going to make you happy or change your life. You have to really get to know yourself. I think I really struggled after that, because then I realized, well, it doesn't really matter what your rank is. You have to love what you're doing. You have to really enjoy it. I was my toughest critic, ultimately. There's something to be said about understanding the range of feeling that you can have. And because I was so competitive, and just my personality was such that if I got a bad call or if I missed a shot that I really wanted to hit, I could get pretty upset at that. I had gotten to the point where it wasn't a healthy response for me to just smash my racket on the wall or yell at a ref. But that's because I hadn't learned how to deal with it in a healthy way. But what happened was, so often it was deny the feeling, and then I'd blow up. If you're not very self-aware, you probably have extreme feelings and don't know how to dial it back a little, pause, take a breath. But that's part of when your identity is wrapped into your sport. There's something to be said about understanding the range of feeling that you can have. But I think it was sort of like, oh my gosh, I really need to do more self-reflection to really understand, okay, well, if my heart's not in this, what do I really want to do? What would be next for me? It wasn't until later in life really realizing that you need to ask people for help. Say, you know what? I'm having a bad day. I can't practice today, or I'm having a bad day emotionally. I am tired, or I don't feel good about myself, or, whatever it is. I don't know that I had the skills then to deal with it. And to be totally honest, I think sometimes it was totally acceptable to just, go out and have a bunch of beers, or, go have a big party night and pretend everything's fine. Meanwhile, inside, you're thinking, okay, I'm trying to play the squash thing. I have no money. I don't know where I'm going to stay next week. what am I going to do? My confidence really dropped because I had no support. Somehow in that New York Times article, it came across that I was like, I'm tired. This is really hard. And all of a sudden I got all this feedback like, I'd love if you kept playing. You're so good. We want to support you. All of a sudden, you say there's this article that comes out telling people that you're struggling. People say, hey, what can I do to help? Like, I care about you. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to ask. I ended up getting a sponsor for a couple years. And I guess that's what I mean about asking for help. I didn't know. All I needed was just a pat on the back, hearing that people care. I just really had this incredible, strong belief in myself. But when I let outside influences when I started to question myself, that's when I think I really struggled with the identity piece, and that if I lost, it meant I wasn't good enough. I started to measure my success as a person with my squash success. I don't think I did a great job of balancing it, frankly. What happened was when squash continued to stay fun, when I kept it in that it's sport, it's a game, I think I played better.